All right, and we're live. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for joining us for another hot Bay State After Hours. So today we actually have a representative from Stella and Chewy's who's going to be talking to us about feeding raw and raw infused foods and different techniques and stuff like that that you can feed your pet. So here we go. Don't mind my appearance. It was like 100 degrees out today, and I didn't have time to go home and shower and stuff like that. We wanted to get this done early before the storm shows up. So thank you everyone for joining us again for another Bay State After Hours. So like I said, we have a representative from Stella and Chewy's. You guys have been asking for Stella and Chewy's to come onto the show for a while now. So I'm very excited to have a guest. So today with us, we have Catherine. How's it going, Catherine?
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm excited to chat with you about Stella. We can do a little education and stuff. So very excited. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So let's start out with your background.
Sure. So I have a degree in human nutrition from NYU in Manhattan. And I kind of learned early on that with human nutrition, it can be very to want to change what they've been eating or their dietary needs. And even if you told them that they had, some disease or something that was ailing them, and if they made some small changes within their diet, that they could, heal their bodies in a sense. So I kind of fell into pet food early on. I was looking for a job on monster.com, and I was posting that I was interested in nutrition and having a sales background as well too. And I actually got recruited on monster.com in 2001, which started my entry point into pet food sales. The first company I ever worked for was Ralston Purina. And I learned early on that people were really starting to transition into more holistic feeding, and that a lot of the commercially large corporate commercial branded pet foods were kind of, falling to the wayside a little bit, and a lot more of the trendier pet foods were coming up. And I actually eventually ended up going to Old Mother Hubbard, which was wellness, and then kind of had a couple of other ones after that. But I've actually been with Stella and Chewy's now for 12 years. So I love this company. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. And I enjoy going to work every day and talking about Stella and Chewy's and educating people on the benefits of our product.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that, there's a lot of dog food companies out there, but not all of them care about pet nutrition like some other ones do. A lot of them don't put the research into it. And I tell people all the time, like there's two different types of food. There's one that's about pet nutrition and pet health. Then there's another one that's about marketing and selling. Don't mind me. There's a fly flying around me. So
unfortunately, a lot of brands have very showy labels, but they kind of lose their luster once you start diving deeper into actually what the products are. So we try to keep it a little simple and go to our roots of raw feeding and kind of add that into different components of what we do, because we feel that that's one of the best ways you can feed your pet.
So let's start with that. So let's start with how Stella and Chewy's started out as a company and as a pet food company.
Okay, well, we actually started at Stella and Chewy's, of course, for the love of Marie Moody's dogs. This right here is Chewy, and that, camera's messing me up, is Stella. So she actually rescued Chewy from a Los Angeles shelter. He was a really sick dog. He actually tested positive for canine distemper, and the holistic vet at the time had suggested to Marie that she just put Chewy down. He's never going to recover. You should just forget about him. He looked awful. His skin and coat was a mess. His digestive tract was a disaster. She actually got Chewy because Stella, her terrier puppy at the time, needed a companion. And she had suffered from a lot of separation anxiety and stuff. So she was like, I need to get Stella a boyfriend. So that's kind of where Chewy came into the mix. But just how it goes, the story, like you get a dog, you get an animal, you kind of bond with that animal, you fall in love. So when the vet was like, you should just bring him back to the shelter and put him down, she was basically like, I can't do that. She wanted to make it her mission to get him better. And at the time, she wasn't happy where she was working. She didn't have a family. So she kind of started doing a lot of research on raw food nutrition, which then led her to go to a holistic vet. The holistic vet basically said that 80% of a dog's immune system stems from their gut. And oftentimes, if you can heal the gut of the animal, you can have a healthier pet at the end of it. So she basically started going down to the grocery store. She would buy high quality meats, organic fruits and vegetables, mix them up into a food processor, and started serving them to Chewy. And she said in about a 2 month time period, he was like a brand new dog. And of course, Stella, you're feeding one dog raw, you can't not feed the other dog raw. So Stella also ate raw as well too. But she really, back then she said that it was the developing of the humanization of pets. She was living in Brooklyn. They were starting to have jazz brunches where you could bring your pet to brunch with you. So it was really the evolution of like humanizing your pet becoming part of the family. And what better way to treat your family or show love in your family by what you eat? I mean, that's what I do with my family and my kids. And my Stoli, who's my 105-pound Rottweiler, he is absolutely different. He gets the best of the best as far as I'm concerned. So, but so he just basically kind of started with raw. She realized that most of the raw currently on the market, they would sell it in either chubs or these big logs. And
yes, I remember those.
She couldn't imagine like your average person like using a hacksaw and sawing it up in your kitchen. So she really wanted to make things more convenient. And Chewy lived till he was 16. Stella lived till she was 17 and a half.
Wow.
And I really feel like one of the major components on why they lived so long was due to the amount of moisture that you find in raw frozen. I mean, you're hydrating your animal, they're eating moisture, they're eating meat. Anytime you combine high protein and moisture, it hydrates the animal from within. It also doesn't cause the kidneys to work as hard to metabolize the protein as you would find in like a processed kibble. So it really just kind of makes it a little bit easier to digest. But that's kind of the story with frozen. We learned early on too that so many people had adverse reactions to, if you said the word raw, they'd be like, oh, gross, there's bacteria in it. Or conventional vets would be like anti-raw because it wasn't, science diet or something like that.
Yeah.
So we really started getting our niche market into freeze-dried. And that's kind of where freeze-dried took off. I mean, I'll tell you, 10 years ago, people were like, what is freeze-dried? So it was really, kind of an evolution of a whole market segment with this brand, which was really exciting. So a lot of people didn't expect it, I guess, to go or to become what it did. But it's really fun to watch it grow and develop and see how many pets absolutely love to eat. Because there's nothing worse than if like your kids are like, I don't want to eat that, or your dog's like, I'm going to eat that. So it's the convenience.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point about the raw, like most people, I know before I started working at Bay State, like when I first started working here, I honestly thought that like feeding raw meant that we had a freezer full of like body parts, like chicken wings, and like I thought that's what raw was. Yeah, I thought that's what raw was. So it's amazing to see just how far raw has come just in the past, 10 years, well, 15 years since I've been here, but just in the past 10 years, it's really evolved. And like you said, into the freeze-dried, which is even more convenient to feed a raw protein and not have to worry about the thawing process, which we'll get to that in a little bit too. But
yeah, there's so many different ways to feed our product. They're both, each component is that has wonderful benefits in each category. And raw is never really an all or nothing approach. I think anytime you can add fresh food to what your animal's eating, you're going to notice a difference. And it's the same thing with humans too. Like when we, start paying attention to what we're eating and eat a little bit cleaner and more species appropriate, so to say, then you'll notice a difference in terms of that. But yeah, definitely early on, a lot of people knew us for frozen, but then kind of forgot we had frozen and only thought of us as a freeze-dried company. So, but I really feel like now that frozen's also really doing pretty well as well too. And it's really exciting when people are like, oh, I know Stella and Chewys, because 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. So it makes it kind of fun. But
so let's just start out with this comment from Donna. She says, the only food that her Yorkie will eat. I figure that's a good way to start this. Man, this fly is bugging me. So I figure that's a good way to start.
What I really loved about selling Stella and Chewys early on, and what we all love in the pet food industry, and I'm sure Kevin can attest to it too, is that we're all pretty friendly. All of the reps know each other from all the different companies. We all really get along. We've all been calling on the same customers for a really long time. So it's really kind of a fun community. But the cool thing about Stella was, regardless of what kibble you were feeding, you could always put a little Stella on top, and that led to kind of our it was like our picky eater magic. And you'll see it in some of our new products, like the magic dinner dust. So it's just, like I said, once you have a little dog, and especially small dogs, it's really important for small dogs, puppies, and also seniors to really be getting dense nutrition into them, because small dogs, if they're not eating or they skip a bunch of meals, they can become hypoglycemic, and then you can have a whole nother wealth of issues. For senior dogs, the moisture is amazing in the frozen and the palatability is great. And if you think about seniors, they're not as active, they're not eating as often, so what you put into their mouth really needs to have more of a payout nutrition-wise. And then, of course, puppies. So I always look back when I had my children. As a mother, for me, it was the most important part of their life to make sure that they had the best nutrition out of the gate. So whether it was, unprocessed foods or breastfeeding or whatever. But the same thing can apply when you have puppies too, is getting dense nutrition into what they're eating as well.
So before we get into the first product that you guys have, your roots, I am doing this from a different location for all of our viewers. As you can see, I am at Bay State. So let me know if my volume is good. Let me know if the sound quality and the picture is good, because I am doing it a little bit differently right now. So let's start with Stella and Chewys roots. Like you said, they started as a frozen company.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the products they offer frozen, how people can feed it, and the benefits of it too.
So for me, frozen, what I love about our frozen product, and this is our 6 pound. So this is like if you had larger dogs or a multi-dog household, they almost look like a hamburger that you would find in the grocery store. These products are all 95% meat, bone, and organ meat, 5% organic fruits and vegetables, grain-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, and salmonella and E. coli free with our patented food safety process. You can supplementally feed this. So if you wanted to incorporate raw, the 6 pounder is going to give you 12 8-ounce burgers. We also have a 12-pound value offering. So if you have a multi-dog household, there's a bit of a savings in there. There's two 6-pound sleeves to the 12-pounder. But what I love about this product is that we're doing a higher percentage meat than a lot of our competition. So we're following what they call the prey model diet. So this product here actually has 95% meat, bone, and organ meat. So a lot of our competition, they're going to fluctuate their meat protein to vegetable ratio. So they could have 80% meat and 20% produce. So with us, we're really following that 95-5. So for me, if you're going to feed raw, you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck in terms of meat content. The other thing too is we're all using grass-fed, cage-free, wild-caught. and also the organic fruits and vegetables. So really high quality meats as well too. And we're balancing this as well too. So at Still and Chewy's, because we feel it's our due diligence as manufacturers, we do add a 0.05% synthetic vitamin pack to our products that are sourced from Europe. But 0.05% is basically just to make sure that this product meets your nutritional needs of your pet. And that's really minimal. It's just basically just a topper in terms of that. But some of the great things that I love about our frozen is that unlike our freeze-dried, it does have a frequent buyer. So there is a buy 12, get one free. The moisture, I mean, you are getting so much moisture in this product. So the hydration that you're getting, freeze-dried's amazing, but you should be rehydrating that in order to make sure that your pet is getting that adequate moisture. But frozen kind of, I mean, I mix it with Stoli's kibble every night. I found that on full raw, he didn't do great on it. Like he needed a little carb in his diet. So he gets a majority of raw and then some kibble. And I mix the two and then I add some bone broth and I sprinkle a tiny bit of dust on top too. But maybe that's a little over the top, but I love him. He's a cutie. But moisture for me is, as they're eating, and I touched on this earlier, you're hydrating your dog naturally. They don't have to go to the water bowl as often. You're going to see less waste coming out the back end. So if you do have a big dog, you're going to notice that in the yard as well too, or even a small dog too. So it's all dense nutrition. Everything gets absorbed, and then you're basically left with minimal waste coming out the back, and that's usually the ground bone that's found in raw. Most raw will contain some form of ground bone. That is your calcium and phosphorus, and getting some like trace minerals from there. But like I said, I mean, Chewy went from almost a death sentence by the vet to living till he was 16. And like I said, I really feel like hydration has a lot to do with that. Anytime you have to have your dog or cat go to the water bowl, it's just almost to a point where they're probably more dehydrated than you would think that they are. And I would like talk to people too from a human standpoint. Like a person my height and weight, I'm 5'6", 160 pounds. I should be drinking 96 ounces of water a day to be properly hydrated. So if you think of that, I'm also eating food that has moisture in it, where most of our pets are just given a dry bowl of food and a water bowl. So this is a great way to kind of, make sure they're getting that moisture in their diet. And you can top dress any kibble with this product too. You can cut up the 8-ounce burgers. We have frozen morsels. We have little 3-pound patties that are kind of small too. So there's many versatile ways to do it, but that's kind of like what's in the bag. Some of the benefits of feeding raw, first and foremost, if weight loss. Like if you have a dog or cat that needs to lose some weight, by cutting out carbs and adding protein, protein's going to keep them full longer. Protein's also going to maintain lean body muscle mass. So they're not losing muscle as they're losing weight, which is really important. And I think also we all know, like whenever we've put our animals on a diet and it's like a kibble that has a ton of fiber in it, your cat or your dog might look at you like, I'm starving. So really adding the protein, you can really see a noticeable difference for both cats and dogs as well. And I know for myself personally, I do the same thing. Like protein keeps me full, maintains muscle. So
exactly. A lot of people overthink it. They overthink the fact of weight loss. They think that they should just feed their dog less when it's actually not true. It's just feeding a better quality protein, like you said, and less carbs, just like how we would. If we do a more protein diet, you'll end up losing
it's almost
some
like
of
the
that
keto.
carbs.
It's like the keto diet for dogs. It's just
Exactly.
It works amazing. So I mean, my recommendation is before you go to like that diet food or low calorie food, I would cut back on the kibble and supplement with raw. And if you ever have questions too, I know sometimes feeding guidelines can be challenging. Our customer service is amazing. I even oftentimes go to them for my own dog just to make sure that I'm doing the right mix of products. And they can really custom tailor a feeding ratio for you and your dog. And especially like if you're like, oh, I wanted to do 60% kibble and 40% raw, or, so always feel free to reach out. We have a very engaging community on Facebook, Instagram, and also through our website as well.
And for those who watched my video last week, we talked about hydration. Hydration is very important in a dog's health. Like you said, they should be having about 1 ounce of water for every pound of body weight, give or take. And most dogs aren't getting that. And when they do a kibble, it's all dry. There's only like a 10% moisture in that. So, like you said, supplementing with raw. I actually didn't even think about that in my video last week. I didn't even talk about feeding raw, which I know. I know I messed up. I really missed the ball there on that one. But that's a great point. You can
you could baby step, like if you're nervous about like, oh my God, what if I forget to thaw raw? We have our 4-pound morsels, which are little nuggets, and they thaw out in about 20 minutes. And even like the little mini patties, they don't take that long to thaw out. And and most people should be doing this anyway, whether they're feeding kibble, but as soon as Stoley's done eating, I take his bowl, I put it in the sink, I put some really hot water into it. I change out his water dish like 2-3 times a day, just because, he slobbers a lot. So he's a good boy.
And we talked about that too, just making sure you keep up with the cleaning and stuff like that. So,
but it's really no different than if you were going to cook your own food at home. You would just use common sense, like, oh, if I cut raw chicken on this cutting board, I should wash it or put it in the dishwasher. So, and it's also good too, like if you are still nervous about like, what if you forget, it's always great to have freeze dried as a backup in the house as well. But once you kind of get into a routine, I have a little glass Pyrex dish with a Tupperware, a rubber top. And I just basically get into a routine. But it's no different than like, if my husband's like, oh, what are we having for dinner on Sunday? I'll say, oh, chicken. Let me take it out of the freezer so it can thaw, So once you kind of get into like that little bit of a cadence.
Exactly.
And that your animal will just absolutely love it. Absolutely. I know Stoley, like he's a Rottie, so there's a high level of drool, but he just sits there and it's like a faucet of drool on both sides as I'm making him wait for his food. So not only the hydration.
And the thing is not a lot of people can actually say that about their pet either. A lot of them say like, oh yeah, they'll eat, kind of feels like a chore. So to have a product where a dog actually is like ready for it and drooling for it, that in itself shows the difference.
Yeah. And it's not cooked. So you're getting all of the nutrition. You get the essential amino acids, the fatty acids. We have a built-in probiotic in all of our products.
Yeah.
Anytime you're adding raw, there's boatloads of taurine in raw and organ meat. So because this is 95% meat, there is so much taurine in this product. So for all of you that are worried about taurine deficiencies, protein organ meat is a great way to complement any of that. Plus at Stella and Chewy's, we do added taurine on top of that. And we've been doing that for years. We have a 2% added taurine in all of our kibble and freeze dried as well too. So there's lots of taurine in these products as well. And it's just so good for them, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but think about the money that you spend on other brands that you just throw away because your pet's not eating it. So
yeah, exactly. Pauline, thank you for letting me know that my sound and picture are good. I knew I can count on you. I know you're pretty active with all my Facebook Live videos, so thank you for letting me know. So let's move on to the next product. So now we talked about completely frozen raw, but like you said, not everyone has time to think about, taking out the food and thawing it out. So let's talk about what other options people have.
So we do our freeze dried. So this is our meal mixers. This is our number one seller in terms of freeze dried, the 18-ounce size, the big size. It gives you every benefit of feeding raw frozen minus the thawing. And of course, there's no moisture in this product. So we do recommend a quarter cup of warm water per patty. So if you're feeding our freeze-dried dinner patties, we would recommend that, or 2 tablespoons of warm water per scoop of meal mixers. We used to have a scoop in here, but too many people were concerned about the recycling and stuff. So 1 scoop is actually equal to a quarter cup of measure, and 1 patty is equal to 1 scoop. So if you're a patty person, your value is definitely going to be in the patties, and then it would go into the meal mixers, and then it would kind of go down from there. The more convenient we make it, the more kind of dries up the cost. But we learned early on that so many people were driven by convenience and that wanted something that was convenient and easy to feed, that we kind of went with it. And like I said, this is one of our #1 sellers. I love the fact that that you can use this as treats, you can use it as a topper, you can use it as a full meal. If you are using it as a full meal, you would definitely want to make sure you're hydrating it. And you also would really want to follow the feeding guidelines in the back. But, you know, on average, we recommend a quarter cup to 1 patty for like a 50, 60 pound dog per meal, if you can swing that. If not, anytime you can add a little bit of raw to what they're eating, you're going to have a cumulative benefit over time. But yeah, so this is kind of like what we became known for. We're basically the market leader in this industry. We manufacture everything in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, in our manufacturing facility, which is now 400,000 square feet. So we just did an annex addition. I've been to that plant. It's crazy how we've grown. I mean, when I started with this company, it was a 13,000 square foot facility. So we have, crazy.
That's crazy.
We have 50 in-house freeze dryers. We really make a quality product. We want quality ingredients. We do a ton with food safety. That's a huge concern, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But yeah, so that's kind of the freeze dried. So this is like I have a picky eater, like, you know, Donna's Yorkie. I don't know, Donna, if you're feeding the freeze dried, but it's really versatile. And I even used to give this to my cats. We have a cat specific freeze dried as well. It just has a higher meat content because cats are your obligate carnivores, but you could easily supplementally feed this to a cat if you wanted to too. So, and I oftentimes hear a story about like the cat going to the dog's bowl and taking it out. So, but yeah, many different forms of freeze dried. Your best value of our product is actually in the frozen. Like I said, you get that moisture bang. It's a buy 12, get 1 free. You could also supplementally feed that as well too. The same you would do freeze dried. It's just not going to be like once you once you thaw the frozen, it's not going to last as long. Like if your dog isn't one that rushes to eat, then you would just have to kind of keep an eye on that. So, but
out of curiosity, like how long would it last? Like how long should somebody keep it out for before they throw it away? Yes.
I would kind of just use your judgment. Same with human food in terms of that, you know, like. Yeah,
once it gets to like a room temperature type of thing, you know, then.
Yeah, I mean, it can last up in your fridge for up to 3 to 4 days once it's defrosted. But, you know, I think so many variables would depend. Like, you know, do you this heat wave now, do you have like air conditioning? Do you not have air conditioning? You know, so I would just kind of use your best judgment in terms of what you would do for your own food. Especially the raw freeze dried. If it's not rehydrated, it's shelf stable. So, but once you rehydrate it, it's the same kind of premise with the raw frozen that you kind of want to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, because it kind of like just reactivates it and gets it going.
Yeah.
So, do you?
And then too, like this is one of our newer products, our bone broth, which comes in a new resealable top. And this is a great product as well too. This is shelf stable. So if you're looking for a little bit more pizzazz for other than just regular water.
So actually, I talked about the Stella & Chewy's bone broth in my hydration video. We talked about adding it into the water just to spice it up a little bit. Plus, it's all moisture to begin with.
Yeah, and this is going to be different than your like Swanson's broth at the grocery store. I mean, that tends to have a lot of garlic and onion in it. So those are things you would want to avoid with your pet. Bone broth is actually provides a lot of electrolytes too, so that's going to increase your hydration as well too, having that additional electrolytes. Plus, you have your ginger, turmeric, cinnamon. Turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. Cinnamon has other beneficial properties as well too. But just another fun thing to add to the cooking for your pets or mealtime prep for your pets. But
So we talked about the frozen, and we talked about doing freeze dried. Now, is there anything that you guys offer that has maybe like the freeze dried already in it? Then that way people don't even have to worry about even having to mix it up. So
early on, Marie always talked about eventually, like down the road, adding a kibble. And as a sales team, we kind of wanted it to be something that was, if we were going to go down this road, that we wanted it to be lower temperature cooked, so it kind of maintained that level of quality, less heat, things of that nature. So we ended up doing a oven baked raw coated kibble, and this is our blend version. So this is going to take an oven baked kibble. So most of your kibbles are cooked at aggressive temperatures, 500, 600 degrees Fahrenheit. They're formed under a lot of pressure. This product is oven baked in our plant in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. It goes on a conveyor belt, 200 degrees for about 6 minutes. And at the end of it, it's actually coated in our magical dinner dust. So this is our granular freeze dried, which this is so much fun. You can do so many things with this product. So you actually get a raw coating on the exterior of the kibble. And then in the blend, we marry the meal mixers in here as well too. So if you're kind of, a person, a lot of people are busy. They kind of want that one and done philosophy. So this will marry your meal mixers. You have a triple protein in here, all using grass-fed. So this is going to be your grass-fed beef, grass-fed venison, grass-fed lamb. You get a 7% raw inclusion in any of our blend products. So it kind of like takes the work out of you, like getting one bag of food, adding a meal mixer. So it's kind of that one and done. I love the fact too that we just launched an exclusive frequent buyer with this program. So we've really upped our game for our red door retailers out there, which Bay State Pet and Garden is one of them.
That's us.
Right. So with any of our dog kibble, you can get a buy 6 bags, not 12, not 10. Buy 6 bags, get 1 bag free. So if you have a multi-dog household and you're buying multiple bags of dog food from other brands, with us, you're getting rewarded more often. So it's really something great. We launched that recently. It is available at Bay State Pet and Garden for all of our dog kibble. Frozen, of course, will be a buy 12, get 1 free. But we really kind of wanted to do something special for our local independent pet retailers that have always supported our products and really taken the time to educate consumers about our brand. So
and like you said, it's for only red door retailers. So a lot of, I'm not going to name names on here, but a lot of big online companies, they can't offer the free bags. Our prices are almost the same as online, if not better. And we can offer the free bag, which buy 6, get 1 free. Like that's unheard of. I don't know of any other. I don't know any other brand that does that. So
most of the brands that usually offer something this aggressive are brands that nobody has heard of, or they're trying to get established. But it doesn't resonate as well because people are like, "Oh, what's that all about? I've never heard of them." So, but
just a little sneak peek, everybody. We have actually a really good deal that we're going to do tonight too. So make sure you keep watching and to hear that deal too. So
and for any of you that are feeding our 18-ounce meal mixers, in our 22-pound bag of the raw blend, you get 1 whole 18-ounce bag of meal mixers in there. So there is literally 1.5 pounds of raw in any of our 22-pound blend bags. So say you're feeding another brand, right? And say that brand is, most of your good kibbles these days are in the $60 range, 60,
Yep.
70, $80. And then you're buying a bag of our 18-ounce meal mixers to top that. Not only is that, another $38 to $40 on top, but they don't have a buy six, get one free. It's not oven baked. It's not raw coated. So you really get a great amount of nutrition and value for this product. So something to consider.
Yep. Now, they make another one besides the raw blend, right? Is there
Yeah.
also a raw coated one?
This is our raw coated. So this is kind of like, I like to say this is for people that maybe like to do their own thing on top or add in their own meal mixers or add in raw, like raw frozen. So this is, fly came back here. This is a 2% raw inclusion. So you're getting raw. And that's basically, our philosophy was that people were only getting the benefits of raw when they were putting our meal mixers on top. So if we coated the kibble in the raw, then the animal would get that raw inclusion on a daily basis. And then if you wanted to add extra stuff, then you could do that. But this is going to be a little bit lower of a price point because you don't have as high of a raw inclusion. But and any of our products come in a grain-free variety, which has supplemental taurine, no additional potato in any of our products. So that's another thing that I noticed with a lot of other brands, that even though they were a grain-free product, they were still adding potatoes on top of that. So it was like doubling your starch. And what we talked about earlier was, cut back on some of those carbs and you can really notice your animal kind of leaning out. But this one's going to be a little bit less of a price point. It also has the buy six, get one free, and gives you a 2% raw inclusion. And it also comes in a wide variety of proteins. There are also proteins too that are poultry free as well. So you have that offering too.
Yeah, which is great for dogs that have poultry allergies, because a lot more dogs have poultry allergies than what people think. It's actually quite common. So having a product that's poultry free, that's huge. Because right now, even though it might not be poultry based, it might be like beef based, they still have chicken fat in it.
Yeah, so any of our meal mixers will complement the primary protein in the blend. So if it's leading with a beef will be the mixer. Some other companies, they might, even though it's a beef, they might add a chicken mixer. And any of the coatings will complement that as well too. So, we really want to make a quality product that works for people in that regard.
So you guys also recently came out with a different food. It's called the Stella Essentials. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
So Stella Essentials, a huge component of the market, they say about 57% of all kibble falls under that $60 price point. So, if you have a multi-dog household, if you, are just on a budget, a lot of people think that Stella, we make great products. A lot of our products have high quality meat, so unfortunately they can become expensive, especially if you're feeding a lot of dogs or cats. So the Essentials was meant to be our kind of like our value offering. So most brands out there, you'll notice that they have like a good, better, best philosophy.
Yep.
Our Essentials is kind of meant to be that. It gives you everything that you love about Stella and Chewys, but at a more reasonable price point. So first and foremost, this product is extruded, and we're currently using a low temperature extrusion process though. So it's extruded at 250 degrees. So you're actually maintaining a good amount of the moisture. A baked kibble is actually going to have a high moisture content to it. So it's usually on average a 12% moisture inclusion. So you're getting more moisture in a baked kibble. And going back to the whole moisture discussion, which is something I forgot to mention when we were talking about the baked, is that if you can't do frozen, a baked kibble can really hold moisture. So most of your extruded kibbles, when you add water to it, they start to swell and puff up. It's almost like if you left cereal in a bowl for too long, it kind of gets like bloated looking.
Yeah.
The baked kibble, you can add a ton of moisture to that and really hydrate your animal while he's eating. So if you can't go frozen, if you can't do rehydrated freeze dried, then you can really add a lot of moisture to that baked, which is something that I wanted to that I forgot to mention. Essentials too, so low temperature extrusion. This will come in a grain-free variety. The grain-free is free of potato. It's also using our high-quality meat, so you get grass-fed, cage-free, wild caught. But the price point is ridiculous, and it's actually going to be on sale. A 25-pound bag is going to be on sale at Bay State Pet and Garden in the month of July for $39.99 with a buy 6 get 1 free. So, I mean, that's less than $1.70 a pound, which for high premium.
Did you just say that it's also buy 6 get 1 free?
Correct.
Oh man, wow, that's a steal.
Yeah, and for a lot of the kibbles out there, if 57% of that market share falls under $60, I mean, you have high quality organ meat in this product, you have supplemental taurine, you have really high levels of glucosamine, chondroitin, and probiotics, just great ingredients for what the product is. And I dare for you guys to compare it to some of the other things that you're feeding currently. And I mean, it gives you the Stella quality. It gives you that Stella name recognition. It gives you that buy 6 get 1, which none of our competitors have currently. And then you can do lots of fun things with it. You can add dinner dust to it. You could add bone broth to it. So you can definitely spice it up a little bit. So yeah, so that's kind of our essentials. So low temperature cooking. So, I mean, it's not meant to be our baked product, but it's meant to give people a value offering within our brand segment. So
now we did get one question on YouTube, but it doesn't look like I'm able to pop it up on the screen. They want to know how the raw can be safe as far as pathogens go. So how can you guarantee that your raw is safe from a pathogen such as Salmonella and E. coli? Because that's a real concern too.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically it's Stella and Chewys, and one of the things I've loved about this company is that food safety has been at the heart of what we do since we started self-manufacturing. So that was also when I started at this company, one of the questions I had for Marie, like, what do you do to combat that? Ew, it's gross. It has bacteria, Yeah. So early on, we actually started a HACCP plan, which is hazard analysis and critical control points. So we have a food safety plan that was set up for us by the director of food safety from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. So he came to our plant and set up this HACCP manufacturing plan. And HACCP is usually what's found in human food manufacturing. So it's actually pretty kind of ahead of the time, so to speak. I remember early on, a lot of the other raw food companies kind of used to poke fun at us and call us germaphobes and blah, blah, blah. But Marie was really always concerned about having safe products being brought into people's homes. To this day, we are still continuing to improve on food safety. You might have a company out there that's like, hey, it's been working for the past 10 years. We don't need to do anything to change it. We are not that company. So one of the first things that we've done recently with our plant expansion is early on, we started implementing this process called HPP. It was high pressure pasteurization. So we don't normally like to say pasteurization because immediately your brain thinks of heat and milk, and you can cold press things, and that's basically what we do with our product. So we take our meat, our ground meat, we put it into this large hyperbaric chamber. It gets 80,000 psi of pressure gets applied to the product, and it's surrounded in really cold water. So we basically are squeezing the meat using that pressure. It kind of almost sounds like a giant washing machine, to be honest, but and it's all in PBA-free plastic bags. And basically what happens is that all of those organisms like Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria, they all have cell walls. So anytime you exert pressure to something that has a cell wall, they explode. So you're basically left with inactive Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria in the product. Then we take it to another level where we actually batch test everything via third party. So might be hard for you to see, but each one of our bags has a printed lot number. And as a consumer, you can actually go onto our website. There's a corner that says, check food safety lot codes. You would punch in your lot code. You get a third-party lab result that says this tested negative for Salmonella E. coli. And then like 3-4 years ago, we added Listeria. So we're showing that we're testing for all of those products. Of course, safe handling still applies. That's why we have food safety instructions. That's why, like, after you're done feeding, you want to wash your hands. But I guess we all learned from COVID that hand washing, and we're all professional hand washers by now. So
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. So basically, you're starting with a safe food. What you do with it after, I mean, there can be human error. I mean, if I left raw frozen out on my counter for days on end, I'm sure bacteria would regrow, but it's actually more of a safe product than most kibbles on the market. So
yeah, actually, there's been quite a few kibbles recently. Once again, I can't name any names, but they had recalls with salmonella in the kibble. That's a big deal. That's that can be scary.
Yeah. And we actually just recently got our SQF2 food safety certification at our brand new plant as well. And that stands for safe quality food. And these are like standards that you see in a lot of the human food processing industries. So I think one of the things that really separates us is the fact that we manufacture our own products, with the exception of some components of our brand, like the essentials. And even early on with our baked kibble, we didn't start with producing that, but we ended up bringing those baking lines into our plant not too long after. So I think when you're making your own products in your own kitchen, you tend to have a little bit more attention given to it than if someone's co-packing your product for you. So
maybe you can put in the good word for me to come and check out the kitchen one day. That'd be nice.
I know, you'd be surprised. It's huge.
Yeah, maybe. So is there any other products that you want to go over, or?
I mean, we have a couple of newer wet innovations, like our shredders. We're kind of
you guys are always evolving, like literally always evolving, and it's awesome. It's good to know that you're not just a one product fits all company.
My mom's little cockapoo went bananas for this.
Yeah,
it smells amazing. They all do have a little bit of chicken in it. So unfortunately, if you have a chicken allergy, this product may not be for you, but the smell of these is amazing. And like I said, my mom's little cockapoo, who eats our freeze-dried, eats a lot of our raw-coated kibble, really, really enjoyed these. And although these are cooked, of course, it's not a raw product, but it's another way to add moisture to your pet's diet as well, too. So we have those. Our bone broth is new. We just launched our Just Jerky Bites, which I don't have here. They're in the other aisle, but those are new, and Bay State Pet and Garden has them available as well too. And those come in a beef, chicken, and a salmon. So if you're into a jerky treat,
and those look delicious, by the way.
Yeah, they do. I can't wait for
them. They do look really good.
And we're also really doing a lot with cat. We've launched a full line of cat cans. We have cat pouches. We have cat dust. I really feel like not only did a lot of people adopt dogs during COVID, but cats became popular as well too. And a lot of people are realizing species appropriate feeding. So cats are your most obligate carnivore. 50% of their diet should come from protein and moisture. 50%. So it's really a great opportunity to look at our freeze-dried. I used to feed that to my cats and rehydrate that with bone broth instead of doing canned food all the time. But anything purple is our cat, and anything red is our dog. So we had a wide variety of offerings for both cat and dogs, and treats as well too. So
yeah, and you guys make it easy for people to be able to pick it out too, based on their animal species. So
I know. And so Bay State also has our cat as well, and they offer cat frozen as well too. Cat frozen can be a little bit trickier, especially if you don't get your cat started early. I mean, kittens really imprint at a very young age. So my advice to anyone that recently got a cat is expose them to a wide variety of different feeding options, freeze-dried, frozen, And then you'll kind of avoid that picky cat. I mean, that's because they are picky for that reason, because it takes a lot longer for their brain to say, oh, hey, I do like that. So you just have to be a little bit more patient with cats than with dogs. So. But we have that available as well, too.
Awesome. I think you answered all of our questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to comment them now before we sign off for the night. So to answer the burning question, whether you should feed kibble or raw, why not both? You know, there's
Why
plenty of
not?
options where you can feed both, and you don't have to make a decision. It's not a one size fits all. Stella comes out with a ton of different options for all different types of animals. So all different breeds of dogs, I mean. So,
and the best part too is that if you're comfortable with what you're feeding as your base, you can always add lots of different fun things on top as well too, just to kind of spice it up a little.
And there's no better time to try something new than tonight, because we are going to run a really big deal on our website tonight. So Catherine was generous enough, I'm going to add this to the screen, where we are actually going to offer 30% off all Stella products. So that's insane. So the coupon is Stella30, all one word. You just type that right in. And the reason I brought this up is because not only can you get 30% off, but you could also have us deliver it to you for free. We do we do the free local delivery. So Dighton, Rehoboth, Taunton, I think Somerset is included as well. So just type in your zip code, type in that coupon, and you can get 30% off Stella and get free delivery. And you can get buy 6, get 1 free on some of the products. So,
and we also offer, if you guys haven't created a pet profile on our website, we do a lot of fun contests and giveaway on our website. And we also offer a wide variety of coupons as well, too. So definitely check out our website. And we're very responsive via social media as well, too. So Twitter, Facebook. I think we have like less than a 3-minute response time, which is crazy. And you're actually being humans are actually communicating with you, not machines. So that's nice.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. So yeah, so you guys have this little, this cool thing where it can actually tell you what food they recommend you to feed. So yeah, we'll just put Chris's name here as my pet. But then it gives you, all the different options. You can go right through it, how old they are. They ask very specific questions. And at the end, it'll tell you exactly what they recommend that you should feed. And then from that, you can get coupons and stuff like that, which you can use at Bay State to have even more savings. So,
yeah. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit more dialed in, like more specific, like ratios of feeding various things, then our customer service is really happy to really dial that in for you. And I oftentimes, just to make sure I'm doing the right ratios with my animals, I do the same thing. I'll contact customer service and be like, okay, I just want to make sure this is correct, So they're always happy to help.
I am going to post this coupon code in the chat. Products tonight only. So like all of my other live streams, it is literally for tonight only. So from now until 11:59, 30% off using Stella30. Like I showed you guys, you can get 30% off plus free delivery. So I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It's a good time to stock up on a little bit of food. It's a good time to try something new. And yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity. So thank you, Catherine. We really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. I really hope everyone enjoys it and gets to try something new. Like I said, the newest launch is those Just Jerky Bites, which are in the aisle over there. But
yeah, down our main aisle. So if you guys are watching this and you want to check them out, just come in and ask for me. I'll be more than happy to show you guys the new Jerky Bites. Like I said, they actually look appetizing, which sounds kind of weird because it is dog food, but they do look appetizing. So I haven't got to open a package yet. I'm assuming they probably smell pretty good too.
I haven't opened it yet either, but
Yeah, which everyone knows, like, I have this weird thing about dog food and it smells. So I've smelled dog food on the live stream before and told people how I felt about it. So um, if it smells good to me, I feel like the dogs are gonna love it. So
well, if you like the smell of chicken, try the shredders because that literally smells amazing.
geez, I'll have to open one of those up too. Awesome. Well, thank you, Catherine. We really appreciate
For having me. Thank you guys. I'm so happy that you attended. I hope that you learned a little bit of about our brand. I can't say enough about this company. I love working here. I enjoy going to work every day. I love seeing the joy that our product brings to pets and families. So thank you so much for supporting us. And I hope that if you have any other additional questions, feel free to email Kevin and I can get some additional answers for you. But thank you for having me and thank you for joining.
Bye. Thank you, Catherine.
Take care.
Awesome. Well, that's another episode of Bay State After Hours. We're talking about pet food. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the support, you guys. This channel has actually been really exploding over the last, over the last few episodes. I think this is our 15th one. So I really appreciate the support. Make sure you keep liking the videos for me so that we can give out all this free information to other people. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel. So don't forget to use Stella 30 at checkout on our website. Get 30% off your Stella products tonight only. I hope you guys all have a great night, and I will see you next Wednesday for another one.